Brief History of 7 Killings, Disc 6.
Nina Burgess. Hello? Well, praise Almighty Jaja. It's seen you finally wake up. It's the third time you called the sister-in. My sister Kimmy. 2 sentences in and she already playing ghetto. I wonder if the sun is up yet. I don't know if I'm up for either it or her this morning. I was really tired. Too much party last night. You hear me? I said you had too much party last night. You're not gonna ask me what you must take for it. I already know. You already know what you must take? No, I already know you're about to tell me. Oh? What a way you faced it this morning, sisterin. Not used to you being so smart. Must be the morning air. Kimmy makes a point out of never calling me, ever since she took up with Ross Trent, who told her to keep her communication with people still trapped in the Babylon shitstorm as little as possible. He escapes such communication by flying out to New York every 6 weeks or so. Kimmy's still waiting on a visa to go with him. You'd think that Ross Trent, son of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, could arrange a visa for his queen woman. You'd think the same queen woman would read something into him not even offering to try. But everything in Jamaica is up for sale, even an American visa, and I have things to do today. How can I help you, Kimmy? I was thinking the other day, what you know about Garveyism? You call me at 8:45. 8:45 a.m., Nina. Is soon 9. 9? Shit, I have to go to work. You don't have no job? Still have to shower. What you know about Garveyism? Is this a radio quiz? Am I pon the air? Stop take things make joke. Then what else could this be? You calling me so early in the morning for no reason other than a civics lesson? My point exactly. That you wouldn't see it as important. That's why the white man just down press you so. When me say Garvey, your ears should have prick up like a dog. You talked to your mother today? She fine. That's what she'd said. Mommy need livicate her life to the struggle. Only then she can truly escape our downpression as a people. Kimmy learning from Ross Trent to take the words English people gave her as a tool of oppression and spit them back in their face. Rasta man don't deal with negativity, so oppression is now downpression, even though there is no up in the word. Dedicate is livicate. I? Well, God knows what that means. But it sounds like somebody trying for their own holy trinity, but forgetting the name of the third person. All a load of shit if you ask me. And too much work to remember. But nothing Kimmy likes more than being given too much work to do. Especially when Ross Trent looking for probably another woman. Not a queen like her, but a woman who will suck his cock and maybe eat out his ass. So that his no turns into oh. A bowcat that he doesn't have to respect. Kimmy wants something specific, but she'll never ask, preferring to fish it out. This morning, who knows? Maybe she just wants to feel better than somebody and my number is one of the few 8 digits she can remember. He's a national hero, I say. At least you know that. He wanted black people to eventually go back to Africa. Well, in a way, but good. He was a thief who buy a ship that couldn't sail anywhere, but probably not the only national hero who was a thief. See it there now? Who tell you that him is thief? This is why black people can't progress, you know. They call their own people thief. I didn't know Marcus Garvey's real name is Burgess. Or is our real name Garvey? This is exactly what T say. This is exactly what him say people like you would say. People like me. Then no must people like you? People in darkness? Come out of the dark and come into the light, sistren. I could try to shut her up, but like Ross Trent, Kimmy's not really talking to you. She only needs a witness, not an audience. And why call me, since I'm sure I'm not the only person you know who's in darkness? Call one of your immaculate high school friends or something. Sistren, if the revolution ever going to happen, it must, you hear me? It must begin in the home first. Trent's home free already. Everything is not about tea, Nina. I have my own life too. Of course. Everything is about Marcus Garvey. Where you think your life going? All you black people running around like headless chicken and don't even know why you're directionless? You read Soul on Ice. How much I can bet that you never read Soledad, brother. How Europe underdeveloped Africa. You were always the bookish one. Well, book is for wisdom, also for foolishness. The problem with a book is that you never know what it's planning to do to you until you're too far into it. I really need to take a shower. For why? You don't have nowhere to go. And why don't you go fuck yourself, miss? I couldn't fuck and breed for Che Guevara, so I go and take whatever revolution I can ride with my vagina. It reaches the very tip of my tongue and vanishes like a little sugar pill. I tell myself that I tolerate Kimmy because she could never survive me even once talking to her the way she talks to me. I hate people like that. People you have to protect while they keep hurting you. Deep down, she's still the same girl who wants more than anything for people to like her. The only thing she wants more than that is to go back and be born poor and struggling, so she can feel entitled to hate everybody who lives in Norbrook. But one day she is going to push me either too far or not far enough. I keep telling myself I don't have time for her, but I went with her to one of those 12 tribes Rasta gatherings. Can't remember when. Might be the same week we went to the party at the singer's house. The whole trip on the way there, she's talking loud, shouting over the engine of a Volkswagen about what I'm supposed to do and what I'm not supposed to do, and how I better not embarrass her with any Babylon fuckery. She shouted about how when I reach, I go and get swallowed by the positive vibration and livicate myself to the struggle for black liberation, the struggle for Africa, and the struggle for His Imperial Majesty. Or maybe me already too trapped in iniquity to get swallowed by anything positive, because Rastafari must first begin with a fire deep down inside you that you can't quench with a glass of water, and you can't wait till it seep out your pores like sweat. You have to tear your mind open and let it rage out. That might be heartburn, I say, the last joke of the night. She gave me that I expected just a little more from you look that she either inherited or studied from Mummy. It's a good thing you dress like a righteous woman at least, she said, at the most boring outfit I could find. A long purple skirt that brushed against my ankles when I walk, and a white shirt that I tucked in. Slippers because I can't imagine Rastafarians liking their women to be in high heels. I couldn't even remember why I agreed to go. Far as I know, I didn't. But Kimmy was acting as if she had a quota to fill, like those church cult boys on the university campus, who act as if they're going to get whipped if they don't get X number of converts a day. But people, funny boy. When we get to this gathering, on Hope Road, in a house that looked like slaves used to get whipped right outside, 2 floors, all wood, French windows and a veranda. Kimmy is quiet. The whole ride over, she couldn't stop yapping, and once she was there, she turned into a nun with a silence vow. Ross Trent was already there talking to a woman, excuse me, daughter, and smiling more than he was talking, stroking his beard and tilting his head left then right, while the girl, white but with a Rasta cap, clasps her hands and looks like she's saying a heavy American version of, "I'm so happy to be here." Me? I'm so happy to watch Kimmy make sense of it all. To watch her fidget and lean on one leg, then the next, then the first, as if she doesn't know if she should walk over there or leave, or wait for him to notice her. All the time, she's silent. All the women were silent except the white one talking to Trent. If it wasn't for the red, green, and gold, and that the skirts are often denim, I'd think I was surrounded by Muslim women. Far off in the corner, 3 women are lit up by the bonfire they have going, cooking some Ital food, whatever. I'm stiff. A lighthouse with only my head moving, sweeping left to right and back. I couldn't help it. I'm already looking for boys and especially girls from my high school who found the true light of Rasta, but are really here just to give their uptown parents grief. There's just so much sex you can have with a man who doesn't use deodorant or a woman who doesn't shave her armpits or legs. Maybe to be a real Rasta, you have to be into man musk and woman fish. A lot of women, but they are all moving. It takes me a while to see that they are all getting something to give to the men. Food, a stool, water, matches for their weed, more food, juice from big igloos. Livication and liberation, my ass. If I wanted to live in a Victorian novel, I at least want men who know how to get a decent haircut. Kimmy was still beside me, still fidgeting. A different woman from the one who just spent an entire car ride talking like she's better than me. Sorta like what she's doing with this phone call. But I haven't heard anything she's said for the past 7 minutes. I know. I glanced at the clock above my door. Channeling emotional energies toward constructive racial interests. Mass sacrificial work. Through education in science and industry and character building. Stress mass education and you listening to a word that I'm saying? Huh? What? Sorry, trying to swat a fly. A fly? What kind of nastiness swirling inside your bed? I'm not in bed, Kimmy. Should I even be calling you that? That Ras Trent would have given you something other than your slave name by now. Him call me Mariama, but this is just between him, me, and whoever free. Oh, that don't mean you until you choose to be free, sisterin. So now that you're free, you're going back to Africa? Typical. Same thing T said. Back to Africa is not even a chief aspect of the Garvey philosophy. Kimmy would never use words like chief aspect. Come to think of it, neither would Ras Trent, who probably spells daughter, D-A-W-T-A, in order to use fewer letters. Amazing that she brings such a bitch out of me, but it always reaches right above my skin or inside my mouth, and never comes out. The more Kimmy dances around an issue, the more it must be truly bugging her. You called me for some reason other than the history, Kimmy? What you talking about? I tell you, revolution have to start in the home first. Not the bed. Same thing. I want to tell her that I'm sick of being the one person she feels she can talk down to. I really do. And then she says, "You is a dirty little hypocrite." Finally. Pardon? You fuck him? What are you talking about? You think nobody wasn't going to see you? Lay around them house like some groupie. I still don't know what you're talking about. Shelley Moore Young said she was sure she drive past a woman that looked like you, hanging outside in gate yesterday afternoon when she went to pick up her kids. Brown girl in Uptown. Of course, nobody else looked like me. When she passed back with the children, she see you again. You spoke to your mother. Me know that you fucking. Fuck who? Him. That is none of your. So it's true. Now you lay waiting him like prostitute. Kimmy, you don't have other things to do. Like tell your mother that is the shits them that beat up her husband and rape her. Nobody rape mommy. That what Rasta Trent tell you? Or him tell you that is Babylon rape her? Go on, tell me. Tell me what him tell you because you sure as shit don't have an opinion for yourself. What? Nobody rape mommy. Nobody rape. Considering that I'm sure as Trent just hold down and take away with you, how the fuck would you know? Him was only trying you out, you know. Trying me out. Trying you out because he still can't forget me. Oh, Kimmy. Most people forget you within minutes of meeting you. It's a pity mommy and daddy don't know you is such a fucking bitch. No, but them probably know that you don't wash your pussy no more because you're turning Rasta. I have to work. You don't have no fucking job. But you do. And why don't you get back to it? Ras Trent's shit up body probably need to wipe. You is a wicked bitch. You is a wicked bitch. Usually, I let her berate me until she runs out of breath. But I went too far this time. I shut up because I know I want to go further. She doesn't see me holding my lips shut. And the only reason him fuck you was to see if good loving run in the family. So, him going after mommy next? T tell me about you. T tell you about everything. You haven't had a single thought for yourself in 2 years. You hear yourself? Calling me about bumbleclot Marcus Garvey like you is a history teacher. Ras Trent sit you down like a fucking 4-year-old and tell you little history. Then you think, who can I talk down to and make me feel bigger than somebody? And as usual, you call me. Well, I don't care about your history lesson. I don't care about Garvey. And I don't care about your fucking Rasta boyfriend who probably sucking pussy when he go to New York. And another thing, if you think that redskin asshole ever gonna help you get a visa so you can find out what he really does in New York, you're even more stupid than the Ganja University t-shirt you always wear. I want to go on. I have things to do, but I go on. I have 2 parents who are sitting ducks, just waiting to be attacked again, from the same bastards who'll probably come back for what couldn't fit on their bikes the last time. I'm so ready to go that I don't care if I start burning bridges even before I cross them, even if it's my fucking sister. I want to go back to Hope Road, to just stand there by the gate and scream and scream and scream until he either opens the gate or calls the police. And if he calls the police, I'll just spend the night in jail and come back out and scream again. He's going to help me, damn it. Because if I could help myself, I wouldn't give a fuck about him and his Midnight Ravers song either. And he's going to give me money. Enough money so that I would shut the fuck up. Enough money that I can go to the US Embassy through the back door and leave with 3 visas because Kimmy won't want one. And fuck her. Fuck her. Fuck her. Fuck her. There's at least 10 more years stuck in the back of my mouth that I'm finally letting out. And fuck all who don't care. I want to spit it in her goddamn face and explode all over her bumble pussy rasclat ears. But she hung up.
Josie Wales. I have an appointment with Dr. Love. The day was just starting when a phone in the living room rang. I was up already, moving about my house like a morning ghost. Before he say hello, I say, "You really have a fuck up sense of timing, Dr. Love." He wanted to know how I know it was him. I said he was the only man who had risked getting a bullet in the head for bothering me before morning tea. He laughed, said, "See you by the usual place," and hung up. Weeper still snoring on the couch, even though the ringer was set too loud. Peter Nasser introduced me to him on day he come also with the American, Louis Johnson. Then both men make the mistake of thinking they could control all communication between me and this Cuban. But a church pastor said to me one time that man might not know man, but spirit know spirit. He was using it to explain how faggot find each other. I couldn't care less about that shit, but what he says stick with me forever. I even use it as a judge. Yes, you can tell me all sorts of word. I already know the power of word, but will spirit know spirit? So when I first meet Dr. Love, most of what we say to each other, we didn't use words. Peter Nasser, in one of his rare trips to the ghetto in broad daylight, pulled up in his Volvo one day in November 1975, saying he brought an early Christmas present. I look at him thinking what a fucking fool this stocky Syrian clump of dog shit is. And I look at the Cuban to dismiss him too, but could read when he rolled him eye that he was thinking something close. Peter Nasser never shut up, even when him fucking, so I notice when a man don't talk. At first I think that since he was from Cuba, he didn't know enough English, until I realized that he only talk when he have to. Tall man, skinny too, with a beard he scratched too much, and curly black hair too long for a doctor. Instead he looked like Che Guevara, who was a doctor too. Except Dr. Love tried to kill Che at least 4 times. That little maricon, that little putito is not even Cuban, he say when I point out that the two of them was in medicine and they both leave it behind to pick up gun. Part of what draw me to the man is just to know a thing or two. How you go from saving life to taking life? Dr. Love say, doctors take life too, hombre. Every fucking day. The day Peter Nasser bring him here, he say to me, "This man gonna take it to a whole new level." Here is the thing now. Louis Johnson did try to tell me foreign policy in that low, draw-out way that white people talk when they think you're too stupid to understand. Louis Johnson know Dr. Love because they both was in a Bay of Pigs, Kennedy's little puppy show to try and kidnap Cuba that flop in everybody's face. Dr. Love is to Bay of Pigs what 1966 is to me. I look at him and I know. While Peter Nasser and Louis Johnson walk off because Louis Johnson promised him that he would try cow cod soup, since according to Nasser, he fuck his wife like a 16-year-old boy after that, the Cubans stay behind. Luis, he said, Luis Hernan Rodrigo de las Casas, but everybody calls me Dr. Love. Why? Because counter-revolution is an act of love, hermano, not war. I'm here to teach you things. I already learned enough things from Johnson. And why the fuck you people always assume black people so stupid you need to teach them things? Whoa, muchacho. I didn't mean to offend, but you offend me as well. Me? Offend you? I don't even know you. And already you're lumping me with the Americano. I see it in your face. You man take 2 different bus come here? Hermano, it's because of that man and men like him why things fucked up to shit in Bay of Pigs. Him and every dumb Yankee fucker who got involved. Don't put me in him. With him. Aye. So what is your claim to fame then? You heard of this Carlos the Jackal, no? No. Funny. He's heard about you. He's been hiding out here for a good while, ever since shit went down in a major, fiasco with OPEC. Even fucking a few of your women, I am sure of this. I taught him a few things because, truth be told, he's shitty excuse of a terrorist. Catholic schoolboys all wanting to be fucking revolutionaries. I tell you, the whole thing makes me sick. You are real, doctor. You sick, hombre? No, you don't sound Cuban. I did my schooling in Oslo, muchacho. You see any boy here? Ha, my mistake. Pero todo es un error en este país de mierda. Not half a mistake as the stupid country you're coming from. Por Dios, ¿hablas español? I nod yes. CIA, hombre. He knows, you think? I nod no. Want to hear something? Act as if you are deaf. You understand this? As if you are deaf. Luis, ¿por qué me has sacado de mi propio jodido país para hablar mierda con ese hijo de puta? Luis, nada más. Enseñale al negrito de mierda alguna bobería como una carta bomba. O préstale el libro de cocina del anarquista, qué sé yo. Él y sus muchachos son unos comemieras, pero son útiles. Por lo menos por ahora. He's saying he likes you, Josie. Me no. You don't sound too friendly. Dr. Love laughed. He looked at me and smiled. Always good to know who your friends are, isn't that so? He say. Anyway, I think you want to know my claim to fame, no? Meet me at Kingston Harbor tomorrow, and I will show you, my friend. Me done learn enough tricks from the CIA. But CIA didn't send me, amigo. I bring greetings from Medellin. This was right before Christmas season, after a whole year of PMP boys chucking badness all over Kingston. The next day, I meet him at Kingston Harbor, downtown, out by the dock. The morning was lazy. Not too much people out yet, but cars lined the road right around the harbor. People working early must be. I can't imagine anybody leaving their car down here overnight. Even though, funny enough, that would be the safest place in Kingston to leave it. And even more funny, some people still live down here and live good too. I didn't see him for a while and think this was joke. Bad enough that I was downtown with no backup in territory where Bunt and Banton gangs still move. Down by the harbor, almost all the buildings look like from a TV show set in New York. Bank of Jamaica, Bank of Nova Scotia. Two hotels that must did think a different kind of Kingston was going to happen before Manley take over with his socialism, communism bullshit. Anyway, I didn't see him since he was coming up behind me. He tapped my shoulder, then put his finger on his lip to tell me to stay quiet even though he was smiling the whole time. He take off his knapsack and jog down almost to the end of the road. They go from car to car, pausing at some, frowning at others. Some of them even stooped down, but I couldn't tell if he was checking tire, fender, whatever the fuck he was looking for. I wonder why I come out in the first place. He up from a red Volkswagen to white Cortina to a white Escort and a black Camaro. He keeps stooping down, but he was on the other side of the car. I couldn't tell what he was doing. If he did think me wake up early to come down in war territory just to see how Norway educate a Cuban rob car or slash tire, he was about to deal with one very mad Jamaican. He jumped up from the last one and trot over to me like some schoolgirl. He tie his hair back into a ponytail and have on dark glasses and t-shirt saying, "Welcome back, Carter." Amigo, I have a word for you. What? What word? What the fuck you talking? Duck. What? Duck, he said and pushed me down. The red Volkswagen roof blow off right up into the sky before the rest of the car explodes sideways. The road starts shaking like an earthquake. Waves in the road like wind fucking up sea. Then the Cortina explode. The Escort explode with two booms which lift it up straight into the sky, where it flipped back and what did leave of the Cortina. The Camaro had to sit there while its face blow off, tire in the sky like flying saucer. Dr. Love laughed at each explosion, yelling like a little boy with each boom. I couldn't tell if people get killed, but I don't think so. Glass all around shatter and people screaming. The whole time I'm flat on the road with this laughing Cuban on top of me. You impressed yet, amigo? If anybody see me, them go and think it's me behind this, fool. Then let them think it. You want to impress Medellin or not? You John the Baptist? Let me know quick, so I can go search for Jesus. Luis Hernan Rodrigo de las Casas, Dr. Love. 2 months ago in Barbados, a Cubana plane take off from Sewell Airport heading for Jamaica. 12 minutes and 18,000 feet later, 2 bombs explode. Plane crash killing everybody, including the entire Cuban fencing team and 5 people from North Korea. There are things that Dr. Love learned from the CIA ever since he joined Coordination of United Revolutionary Organizations, another one of those groups that seem to form every month to get rid of Castro. Give the doctor this. He was the first man not to arch an eyebrow when he realized that I know all this shit. Louis Johnson still don't really believe I can read, which might be why he keeps showing me grocery list upside down and saying it's a classified document. Anyway, Dr. Love learned a lot of things from the School of the Americas. One was to blow things to kingdom come. And then he started teaching it. He said he wasn't even in Barbados when the Cubana blow up, but here. And now he back again, probably because somebody in Colombia need an extra set of eye in Jamaica today. I leave Weeper on the couch, him sleeping in his red brief. I leave him now sleeping on his back, hand rested on balls, which just makes sense. I want to pick up his glasses and put them on, maybe see the world how he see it. But something stopped me, and no, I'm not even going to think that it was fear. I pick up his pants because my woman not tolerating such feistiness on her floor and feel a bulge in the back pocket. A book with no cover and no back pages. I wonder if they was plain like in most book and Weeper was writing letters on them to the man in prison. I turn a few pages and there the title be, Bertrand Russell, The Problems of Philosophy. I asked Dr. Love if he ever read Bertrand Russell. He said yes, but after Heidegger, Russell is just a pansy with a Nobel Prize. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but I know I'm waiting for the moment to spring that on Weeper. Anyway, he was fast asleep when I leave him. Good too, because I didn't want him to follow. When you come into the real truth about yourself, you realize that the only person equipped to handle it is you. Some men can't even handle that, which is why Bellevue always full. Some men can't handle knowing what they are capable of. I thought I know it until Dr. Love teach me, not even a year ago. Orange Street, the tenement yard full of nothing but P&P pussy hole. You want to impress bigger, how you say this, shark? Bigger fish. Yes, this is so. Bigger fish than Peter Nasser? You mean the head? I already. Bigger than that. Bigger than this country, Chico. We've been using the Puerto Ricans and the Bahamians, but both are full of shitters. Don't know what you're talking about, Luis. Yes, you do. But let us say it is, as you say, you don't know. That gift that you don't know about that America needs so much. That gift from Bogota needs a new, how do you say it, Santa Claus. Because the Santa in Puerto Rico got too fat the fuck, and the ones in Bahamas too stupid. Besides, our efforts to liberate Cuba from that impotent Catholic schoolboy, hijo de puta, stand best to succeed if it comes from here, because Jamaica and Cuba kissing cousins, no? Peter Nasser think the CIA send Dr. Love to teach me how to better serve him. Peter Nasser is the kind of man who don't know the difference between fucking his wife good and not caring if he fuck her bad. The CIA look like they know too much, but maybe they just don't care. I like a man who don't care what his enemy's enemy do, as long as he remain his enemy's enemy. Dr. Love come to Jamaica on the CIA plane ticket, but with order from Medellin. That night at the Orange Street tenement, he showed me what to do with C4. Hola, mi amigo. Joseph, long time, my friend. He say, even though it's only 2 months since I see him last. It didn't take long to drive to Half Moon Bay, but you have to look for it to find it. An old dock used by first the Spaniard, then the British in slavery days, even the pirates at one time. It's one of those places where things can come in or ship out, and is nobody business. I can see him from up here on the top of the cliff. By the time I get down to the shore, Dr. Love run up to me and kiss me on the cheek. That's what these Latino men do, so I don't take it no way. Though if somebody else was around, that would be a different story. Louis Johnson off in the bush doing a fuck-up job of keeping his green Ford Cortina out of sight. Or out of sound since he don't switch the engine off. Good thing he's staying in the car. I wonder if Dr. Love have been saying too much. This is a hermano who love to fucking chat. Things are tighter than a fat woman's asshole, mi amigo, he says. Serious business in Barbados. Madre de Dios. Though from technical standpoint, it was already international waters. The struggle for liberation cannot proceed without sacrifice, Chico. Was that to impress Medellin? Nah, 1 bomb was to impress Medellin. 2 was to impress myself. But what do I know? I was in Venezuela at the time. Magic. You need to do the same, hermano. I need to blow up a plane. I told you, I know nothing about no blowing up of planes. What do I need to do? You need to make it so that you don't call them, they call you. Don't make me doubt you, Joseph. Nobody doubts in me after tonight. Impress them, hermano. Brethren, I gonna impress the world. How long you staying? For as long as the threat of communism is real and approaching, Joseph. The man said he was a democratic socialist. Socialism is theory. Communism is practice. You need some kabooms, hermano. Those boys are watching. Not looking to take down All Hope Road with... Don't want to know. But I have some presents in the car, hermano. Just 3 or 4 C4s. I already taught you. No bomber-clot bomb, Luis. How much time me to tell you that? I'm just laying it on the table, Joseph. Him know you have bombs in him car? That idiot doesn't know if he shit through his dick or pissed through his ass. Anyway, I prefer a one-on-one. That pussy hole gon' see where judgment coming from when I come give it. Never did like up close and personal. I stay over here and take you down, no? Do what you have to do, my brother. I'll call you tomorrow. We'll drink mojitos and spit on the picture of that impotent Catholic schoolboy. Call me the day after. Gonna be too busy tomorrow.
Barry DeFlorio. I had no idea that fucking Cuban was in Jamaica. And just after that shit he pulled in Barbados 2 months ago, I have to say the bastard has nerve. I'll bet this was Louis Johnson's idea. Ever since he left Chile to join me in Ecuador, he has a convenient way of forgetting he works for me. It was only 20 minutes or so from the singer's house to the hairdresser in Mona, but thanks to the wife, it felt like 2 hours. Now I'm at my office at the embassy waiting for the events of December 3rd, 1976 to happen. Today is the day we revoke the singer's visa because he's suspected of trafficking drugs into the United States of America. Shouldn't be hard to prove, really. Just check his back pocket. We're supposed to make a big public show of it, a sign that we, as a friend of Jamaica, will not sit by and allow lawlessness to take control of our gracious ally. I already wrote the press release, signed off by higher-up. We also have proof that he has consorted with known drug traffickers in Miami and New York, and has aligned himself with men of questionable character in Jamaica and abroad, including at least 2 local terrorists. This has already been documented. One of them, calling himself Shot a Sheriff, twice tried for murder, is even closely linked to the present government. Documents in order, arrangements made, pretty much all of them myself, especially after that son of a bitch Bill Adler started singing with that two-faced mouth of his. I mean, really, the nerve of that fucking guy. It's one thing to disavow everything you ever did, I get it. You're just one of those fags who signed on for something you couldn't handle. But don't fucking act like half the stuff you wrote about you didn't fucking cause. At least I didn't pick up his shitty technique for bugging a place. He's probably still joking, in whichever country will have him, about that time in Ecuador when the Villa Hilda hotel maids walked in on him on top of that dinner table trying to bug Manuel Arajo. Or the time he tried to convince those Indian guards at the Czechoslovakian embassy that yes, hombres, repairmen do show up at 5 a.m., even in Latin America. Anyway, because of his facilitating a quick exit for 10 on the ground, 7 more had to step in pronto. We didn't even have time for full clearance, or else I would have never okayed Louis Johnson. Not when he and the Cuban came as a package deal. The island is swarming with fucking Cubans. And I'm not even talking the communists. Yes, I can imagine why he would be here, even on his own. What I don't get is why he's making such a public spectacle of it. Public for us, anyway. Unlike Carlos the Jackal, who's been here too, laying low, rubbing his belly while whores suck him off. Those two have a history. I'm paid to know these things. Word was that Luis Hernan Rodrigo de las Casas taught Carlos how to use C4. Dynamite too, but Las Casas always had a serious hard-on for C4. This is not his first trip to Jamaica this year. In both cases, as soon as he got here, things started to blow up. My office has 4 walls and 1 window, with the view of an empty lot across the road where Jamaicans huddle before joining the line at 6 a.m. for visas. Manley told them there were 6 flights to Miami every day, and everybody has been getting a move on with that. The line has been lapping around the entire block ever since Pan Am suspended services between Kingston and the mainland. Weak gesture, right on the same level as Jamaica's women vowing to hold back their sexual services until the government made concrete changes. But you try to teach people little gestures and hope they seed big ones. This file on Luis Hernan Rodrigo de las Casas is a short one. Short is, of course, relative. To really read up on Casas, you have to access 5 files, not 1. I pick one up from my desk, having asked Sally for it the second I saw him walking off with Louis Johnson. The folder is blue. I open it and recognize so many names. Freddie Lugo, Hernan Ricardo Lozano from Alpha 66, Orlando Bosch, a shifty Venezuelan asshole of no mean order. 2 men known only as Gael and Freddy, possibly from Omega 7, and De Las Casas. All from the coordination of United Revolutionary Organizations, all Amblood agents, and all Bay of Pigs alum. They have had a busy year, beginning with them all coming together in the Dominican Republic to form this coordination, a meeting of which the company, of course, has no knowledge. In July, a red suitcase for a BWIA flight leaving Kingston's airport for Cuba explodes on the tarmac. Offices of the BWIA in Barbados, Air Panama in Colombia, Iberia and Nanaco Line in Costa Rica, all with links to Cubana, are all bombed. A Cuban official in Mexico and 2 in Argentina are murdered. Then in September, Orlando Letelier is assassinated in D.C. Pinochet's DINA in that case. But there are those names, those same fucking names, which come up whenever the topic is Latin America. Then there was that fire in Guyana that only destroyed Cuban fishing equipment. In June this year, the 14th actually, the Peruvian ambassador Fernando Rodriguez was stabbed in his living room. This before this Jamaican government declared a state of emergency. Crime here is out of control. It has been for most of the year, but the trick about Jamaican crime is that it is localized for the most part. Every time it travels uptown, you get the sense somebody is trying to make a very unsubtle point. I've met people on both parties, dozens of bulls let loose in a china shop, but even by their standards, even by gunmen standards, hell, even by Chilean secret police standards, Rodriguez's death was just a little too planned, too meticulous, too strained to appear random for it to be so. Explosives are the Cubans' M.O., everybody knows that. But something about that death stinks of him. It just fucking stinks. Of course, the United States government, to our best knowledge, was not aware of any action to terminate the ambassador, but hopes the perpetrators of this unspeakable crime and the powers that be that encourages, provides for, or protects them will be brought to justice. Jesus, I'm starting to sound like Henry Kissinger more and more every day. Sally.
Yes, sir.
Can you check where Louis Johnson went?
At once, sir.
I release the intercom and look at my desk. My wife has never set foot in my office, but Kissinger has, so she can kiss my ass. January. Days after we moved here, my first job is to babysit Heinrich, which everybody calls him behind his back, who was not having a good week in Jamaica. But today, on the way to the hairdresser after the don't call it a fight, the wife did something really strange. She looked at me. Well, I think she was looking at me. I was staring at the road in front of me the whole time, heading up Hope Road to Mona, but by now I sure as hell know when a person is staring at me. Anyway, she looked at me and said, "You know which word I found that I like? That I like quite a bit? Well, maybe not like, but does make me chuckle when I hear it, Barry?" "No, dear." "Scurrilous. Scurrilous. It's one of those words certain people like to use. I never noticed it before, how I'm such an intimate companion to scurrilous. Not a day goes by when I'm not confronted or just annoyed by something scurrilous." We get our own dictionary as a goodbye gift from Yale. Well, you get your own something. But you know something, Barry? I always burst out laughing as soon as one of you say that word, especially in an interview. Kissinger was on TV again or something? No, much closer to home. The ambassador that I don't like said it to Nellie Matar's husband at some business meeting last Tuesday, said, "The allegations of destabilization are scurrilous and false." I had no idea you lunching ladies talked politics. Well, what else are we going to talk about? None of you have any penis size to speak of. Excuse me? So you are paying attention, huh? Seriously, what the hell are you doing here anyway? Talk to me seriously for once, Barry. I'd ask Louis Johnson's wife, but poor girl fell down and hit her face again, and we go where the U.S. government sends us. Oh, I didn't say we, darling. I said you. I'm here wasting my time and kidding myself. What are you doing here? What have you been doing this past month? I swear to God I would have preferred if you had a mistress. Me too. Don't flatter yourself, Barry. Those days are way past you. Fuck you too, woman. What are you doing here? Give me the blow-by-blow. The blow-by-blow, huh? Well, the traffic isn't going anywhere, and you haven't said anything interesting to me in weeks. You're asking me to reveal classified information? Barry, you can either tell me or sleep with one eye open for the next 3 years, because believe me, I'll find out. You know how I get when I set my mind to something. Would you like me to recite the memo? I'm one of the ones who can understand big words. Remember? I have a theory that while a man might not always get the wife he wants or needs, he always gets the wife he deserves. I'm not sure the wife feels the same way. But in a perverse way, this was something I always liked about her. I say perverse because any reasonable man, even a passive one, would have slapped her silly by now. What do you think we were doing in Ecuador? Jesus Christ, Barry. I know the CIA, the company. Sheesh, the company. I know the company is not some foreign aid division of the White House. If you're in a country, you're probably up to no good. Excuse me? Excuse yourself. You're not the one who always has to pack up the children in a rush. Child. We didn't have Aiden in Ecuador. But we did in Argentina. So what were you doing there then? And what the hell does it have to do with your boss telling bullshit to Nellie Matar's husband? He's not my boss. That's not what he would say. You really want to know?
Yes, Barry. I really want to know.
CIA-related missions directive for Ecuador.
Uh-huh.
Priority A.
Christ. You really are going to recite the memo.
Priority A. Collect and report intelligence on strength and intentions of communist and other hostile political organizations, including international support, influence, and Ecuadorian government. Priority B. Collect and report intelligence on stability of Ecuador on government, strength, and intentions of dissident political groups. Maintain high-level agents in government, security, ruling political, and opposition political parties, especially opposition military leaders.
I've really heard enough, Barry.
Priority C. Propaganda and psychological warfare. Disseminate information to counteract anti-U.S. propaganda, neutralize communist influence in mass organizations, establish alternative organizations, support democratic leaders.
I married an automaton. What has any of this got to do with Jamaica?
The company has only one rule book, dear. One size fits all. Maybe you should take a closer look around you.
I am looking around. That's why I don't believe you.
What do you mean?
None of that stuff explains what's going on here.
On January 12th, the Wall Street Journal called Michael Manley's PNP the most inept of all Western governments. February Miami Herald, Jamaica is building up to showdown. March, Sal Resnick in the New York Times writes that the Jamaican government is allowing Cuba to train its police force and align itself with Black Power elements. July, U.S. News and World Report says Jamaica's Prime Minister Michael Manley has moved closer to communist Cuba. August, Newsweek says that there are 3,000 Cubans in Jamaica. Resnick,
good Lord, enough about your lapdog, Sal Resnick. As for Cubans, I don't see any Cubans. Mexicans and Venezuelans, sure, but no Cubans.
The man asked for $100 million in trade credit, then thinks he can just shit in our faces by kissing up to communists? Then don't ask for any fucking credit. Hell, don't ask for anything. If only he'd shut his mouth about socialism.
Sweden's socialist.
You know too fucking much, dear.
You pick the weirdest times to swear, dear.
All isms lead to communism.
Is that what they taught you in Death to Commies 101 at Yale? I've been married to you a long time, Barry, a long time, and I know you. When you can't shoot straight, which is most of the time, you befuddle with bullshit.
Excuse me?
Some of it. Some of what you're saying makes some sort of sense, I guess. But this, no. Either there's some stuff going on you're not telling me, or there's some stuff nobody's telling you. Jesus, you're such a desk clerk.
What do you mean, some stuff?
Something more than that. All of that is economic. And yes, all that adds up. But we've only been here 10 months, Barry. And your little game takes at least 3 years. 6 if you add up all the time in South America. No, there's something else. Something in the air. A natural mystic.
What the fuck does that mean?
It wouldn't even make sense to explain it to you. We're here.
Popolo. The sun rise up and squat down on the sky like it no have nowhere to go. This too, though it's barely 10 o'clock, heat already creeping into the house. First through the kitchen that nearest to outside, then the living room, east to west, chair by chair, so that when we sit down in the settee by the window, me almost jump up fast. I still restless. Preacher say man like me will never know peace, and I accept that. But something about today feel especially off, and it have something to do with Josie Wales. Election in 2 weeks, and Josie meeting with Peter Nasser and the American and the Cuban who I don't see since January. But the JLP need to win the country, and they will do anything to make it happen. I think I know what that mean. Josie planning something they think me don't have the gumption to do. Gentle people, they is right. Plenty thing happened in 1976. Yes, when that schoolboy run into me bullet, that was it. But truth be told, me get tired of the taste of blood long time ago. Me never even like it to begin with. Don't make no mistake. It don't take nothing to kill a man, and even less to not care that him dead. Certain parts of town, you let the baby walk the street, and you leave him when he play in the shit water. And when him gets sick so that he's just a ballooning, bursting, screaming belly that used to be a baby, you take your time to go to clinic, which too packed anyway, and the baby dead while you're waiting in the line. Or maybe you take pity and cover the baby with your pillow the night before, and either way, you see and wait, because death is the best thing you could do for him. It's only 2 weeks before election, and people busting gunshot every day. Me and Shotta Sheriff both claim that we want peace, but it only take one shot from a gang like enforcers in Spanish Town, or the one gang who said they didn't sign no blood clot treaty. It only take one shot. And even if we want peace, man like Peter Nasser need him party to win and don't care how. I usually don't care how either. But how come a little election in a little country becomes such a big thing? Why America care about we so much all of a sudden? This is not about territory. This is not about statement. I think of Josie, and I think of all these Americans, and I think of Peter Nasser, and I think of Copenhagen City, and the 8 lanes, and Kingston, and Jamaica, and the world, and wonder, what kind of bad boy statement would make the whole world look? And just like so, it hit me like revelation. I know what Josie going to do. Me shaking me bones. The orange juice slip out of me hand and drop on the floor. Glass, but it hit my foot first and didn't break. Orange juice sweep across the floor slow, like blood. Jesus Christ, Papa, you don't think I have enough to do today? She down on the floor with a rag and a pail before I even realized what going on. Go outside and put yourself to some use, she said. Outside make me glad that I wearing only a mesh shirt. Josie. If the Orange Street tenement fire wasn't big enough a statement, even Jesus would drop him orange juice over what them must be planning. Something that don't involve me. What can be so big and so dark that it too dark for Papa Lowe? Me don't know what to do, but me legs start walking to Josie Wales' house. Something about the seeing this Cuban with him fucker named Dr. Love make me think serious thoughts. Last time he was here in January, he and Josie Wales go downtown near PNP territory and blow up 4 cars by the harbor, one after the other. He do it just to show off, and nobody get killed, but he seed something in Josie Wales that growing still. Me legs moving forwards, but me mind moving backwards. Back to last December and January, and every month till now. You look at certain things, and there's just certain things. Look at them another way, and certain things add up to one big thing. One terrible thing. All the more terrible, because you never add them up before. January was the last time Peter Nasser called me. Now him call Josie Wales. He called me to say the IMF coming for meeting. The IMF being some group of big man from rich country all over the world who deciding whether to give Jamaica money to haul itself out of the doo-doo pit. That is exactly what Peter Nasser say. Since he still think he have to break serious matters down to basic school lyrics for the ghetto boy to understand it. Me was this close to tell him fuck off. Me know the difference between ostentatious and loquacious, and neither word describe him even when other man write him speech. This is what Peter Nasser also say, that if Michael Manley convinced the IMF to give the country money, then he gonna use it to plunge the country into the darkness of communism. Dr. Love was there to tell everybody about communism. How Fidel Castro take over from the great leader Batista and just move in him house and kill everybody from before. How he tear down all these capitalist things like school and shop, but keep the Go-Go Club Tropicana, even though rumor be that the commandant can't get him little sergeant up for years now. How soon they start to just round up men and lock them up, just like the PNP for this whole state of emergency. Dr. Love talk about when he was in lockup, and how some man in jail for no reason, but them was doctor, or lawyer, or civil servant, which means they was against communism. He lock up even women and children. One day, him best friend escaped to the side wall of the prison, thinking it was just 10 feet drop to the road, but it was a 50-foot drop, and he jumped anyway, thinking he would miss the ground and land in the sea. That brother didn't land in the sea. People, this was what Michael Manley wanted to bring to Jamaica, and the IMF was going to give him money to do it. IMF stand for Is Manley Fault, Peter Nasser say. January barely born and we set to work. The Americans show up with a case full of things the Cuban have to teach we how to use. Wish we had these during Bear Pigs, muchachos, he said plenty time. Him already know Josie when we meet him, but me never have time to remark about that. Them guns not like guns from 1966 or 1972. Them gun, you have to brace on your shoulder, put in one charge, and fire. Our best gun can knock down a man even as the bullet tear through the heart. This bazooka can knock down a wall. I pick up an M1 and don't put it down. Josie hold on to his old gun, but he don't tell the American that is an AK-47, though me sure the Cuban recognize it. We take the Cuban to the garbage lands out far west for him to teach the boys. January 5th, me lead a mission to Jonestown, while Josie go after Trenchtown where the singer used to live. Trenchtown think that make them untouchable, but them not. Learn this, all nice and decent people. An election year commence as soon as the first gunshot busts. I get her always on guard, but Jonestown sleeping. Like they don't know that this is 1976 and everybody have to sleep with one eye open. I almost feel to shoot them up just for their carelessness. We in 5 car, all the better since nobody in Jonestown have a good enough car to follow we. We don't have time to think, just dash through, shower the place with plenty bullet and dash out. But in the back of the truck is our man with the bazooka. He fire at a bar, but the truck hit a pothole, and he slip just as it busts, and like a zinc house explode. The road shake. I shout for them to stop the truck to fire, but they're taking too long to reload. Jonestown coming out and firing with them simple 6-shooter gun and what sound like an AK. But we have new gun that can seek and destroy. Gun for people like Tony Pavarotti who take him time, aim, fire, and never waste a bullet. Me driving the car with my M1 in me lap. I slam the brakes and burst out fire at a bunch of darkness running away from me. The bunch of darkness all fall down, but more bullet rat-a-tat from the east and hit 1 or 2 away, me not sure. Me shout at them to pull out, but not before the bazooka fire again. The fool miss again, but he hit the bus stop. Steel and zinc explode, flying everywhere and smashing into everything like when a tornado spit on TV. We pull out. Josie Whale set out for Trenchtown with just one man and Dr. Love. I shout out that he mad to go with so few. But things now at a place where even when I shout, Josie Wales don't hear me. They set off in Josie's white Datsun. 1 day later, it's Josie that make the news. 2 tenement yard in Trenchtown blow up with explosive. 7 house, a bar, and a shop burned to the ground from fire. Peter Nasser called me and read a story about it from the New York Times on the phone, then cuss because me wasn't laughing as loud as him. He hung up, and I know where him phone ring next. I still can't remember when Josie Wales get phone. January 6th. Police busting on the Wang gang because they live on Wang Sang lands, a ghetto that is JLP, but not controlled by we. Them boys have plans and diagram and chart, and explosive. 2 of them know the Cuban by mother name, Dr. Love, and the rest even talk about how they get gun from America. Me cuss about all them little upstarts that nobody controlling will turn out to be a bigger problem than Shatta Sheriff. Still, me picture Shatta Sheriff over in the 8 lanes with him eye, trying hard to stay open, just like me. January 7th. 6 boy from here bust pon a construction site on Marcus Garvey Drive and kill 2 policemen. I only know because I hear them laughing when they drive past me on the way back. Me lose me cool right away. Who the blood clot send you out to go shoot up construction site, me say. But the first boy start laugh at me. My bullet bust through him right eye and leave through the back of him head before he finish laugh. Who send you out? I say again, and point me gun at another boy. Then something happened that me didn't have a pen to mark with, so me mark it by scratching me gun with a stone later. The rest of the boy pulled them gun at me. Me couldn't believe it. Me stand there watching them watching me and don't say nothing. Then, one of the boys looking at me burst blood from the top of him head and all down flat. The rest of them drop them guns and start to bawl and cry like they just remember that none of them reached 17 yet. I turn round and there is Tony Pavarotti, holding his rifle and looking into the viewer, and beside him, Josie Wales. Both them turn and walk away. The same day, the Wang gang attack a construction site on Marcus Garvey Drive and kill 2 policemen. The day after, this idiot government make a new law. Anybody them find with a gun gets sent to prison for life. Peter Nasser tell we to put more pressure upon PNP communities, so we put more pressure. More than Shatta Sheriff can handle with no bunting bantan and dish rag to back him up. The Prime Minister then come up with the idea that the people hire home guard to guard their house and street. People like Peter Nasser come on TV and say, Jamaica, I only have 3 words for that kind of measure. Ton Makutes. He called me to read some article from a newspaper in America named the Wall Street Journal. Jamaica is not going communist. It is merely going bananas. You know, I laugh, Pusher. It's funny, man. It's funny in a bomber clot. Then, January 24th. 17 people dead from counterflower. February 10th. Josie and Dr. Love and Tony Pavarotti leave out. In Jonestown and Trenchtown, plenty bomb go off. Same month, Wang gang bust in on a youth club dance into Haney Park and kill 5. 8 wounded. March. Can't remember which day. Police see Josie's white Datsun and follow him all the way into Copenhagen City. The police demand that he get out of the car, cause they plan to impound it. Copenhagen people come down on them like judgment with bottle, stone, stick, whatever, and the police almost die like whore in the Bible. I remember 2 things. The party leader himself have to come down to save the policemen. And 2, Josie is a man of the people now. All nice and decent people, me tell you a lie still. You think me stop like how blood tastes when me killed that high school boy? But that was just part of it. And just because me stop like use gun don't mean me did have a problem with how Josie did want to use him own. Or even Tony Pavarotti, who never wastes a bullet. But that Cuban man, that damn Cuban Dr. Love. May 19th. No, me don't forget the date. He and Josie Wales go to the Orange Lane tenement, sneaking around like rat. But this time, they take me. Maybe they did think there was something for me to see, and it wasn't just the boom. All the Cuban had with him was some white putty and some wire. But he find the one gas cylinder in the yard and stick the white putty on it, or white bubble gum. And the second I think is bubble gum, me wonder what is this little picty shit and why Josie Wales like it so bad that he almost jump up and down like schoolgirl and as the Cubans say, blow recover. Then he stick 2 wire in the putty. 2 wire that is part of a coil that reel it out far over the fence. When the place explode, one whole wall blow apart. And what don't blow apart catch fire from all the gas that spray. Josie had him gun ready for anybody who tried to run and for any fireman who tried to run in. Me run from me hear the boom. I wonder if certain man look at me as coward after that. May, June, and July, plenty tribulation did pon the city, brethren and sistren. War in Babylon spread to Spanish town. The police learn a secret that did shut so tight that is the first time me telling all of you. We in Copenhagen City have we own hospital. We have it for years. The PNP didn't know. Shatter Sheriff didn't know. He did just think that Copenhagen City man hard to dead, that we invincible. Truth be, that Fury Hospital better than the rich people hospital up in Mona. Me no know who bust it, but the police find it in June. Them never know so we could treat gunshot better than any doctor in Jamaica. Me still don't find out yet who bust the secret, but he better hope me find him before Josie Wales. At least me will give him 6 hours to run. But here is something me didn't know until the damn newspaper tell me. June was the first time in a long time police come right round to where me be and drag all the way out of jail. Me woman got to the door, but they kick it open and strike her in the face with a baton. Me about to say, whoever do that dead tomorrow. But that would just give them reason to kill, and they hungry for that reason for years now. Me only hear the door burst off the hinge and me woman scream. I run out to the bathroom to see 15 machine gun already pointing at me. Every single gun here hungry for a gunman, so give we a reason, pussyhole, one of them say. This wasn't no police. This was soldier. Soldier in brown-green uniform with plenty pockets and shiny black boots. Soldier don't act like we is crime and them is order. Soldier act like we is enemy and this is war. They got through every one of the tenements and yards and even the community center, and the reason is this. Round the same time they find we hospital in Copenhagen, they find 2 cells in Rima that they use as prison. Rima gunman, who's supposed to answer to me, kidnapped 2 men from the 8 lanes and hold them for 9 hours and beat them. That is what they tell the police who raid Rima and find the cell. Then they raid we and drag we out of we house. Some of we still in brief. Some of we cover up in nothing but towel. Me no mind Rima having cell to deal with a PNP you two think him bad. And understand me again. Me no want no ism or schism named communism in this here country. Me no want no socialism or communism or tribalism where PNP boy move in and take we space. But me have big problem with not knowing shit about it. The police take we to jail and lock we up for 3 days. Long enough for we to overrun the cell with we own shit and man stink. One window in the cell, and me sit by it but never say nothing. Not to Josie, not to Weeper, not to anybody. Me just see and wait. While me in jail, 2 bombs explode in Elysium Gardens. Dr. Love.
This ends Disc 6.